So over 6 years ago, when Breath of the Wild was released, I made a top 5 hardest Sheikah Towers video, and it turns out that Tears of the Kingdom had a similar concept, and instead of 15 Sheikah Towers, it featured 15 Skyview Towers. And overall, they weren't as difficult to activate, and some require no effort at all to activate, while others may have you thinking for a bit. So in this video, I'm going to cover the hardest Skyview Towers, the top 5 hardest ones in my opinion. So let's get into it. So at number 5, we have the Rebella Wetlands Skyview Tower. So when you arrive at this tower, you will notice 2 things. 1, it's always raining, and 2, the entrance is blocked by spikes and vines. So trying to burn them with fire will not cut it. Instead, you need to find a way to keep them dry and then burn it. So you'd have to build a little roof for them using the nearby supplies, and then you can position that roof over them by the entrance, and then you can shoot them with the fire arrow, and then this should clear the entrance for you. Not too bad, but you know, may require a little bit of thinking. At number 4, we have the Gerudo Canyon Skyview Tower, and this one may require a little more thinking. First off, it would be smart to have some heat resistance clothing or elixirs before attempting this tower in case it takes you a little too long to figure out. So when you get to this tower, initially the doors are locked. So if you jump down from that ledge that the tower actually sits on, you'll notice a man called Sahasra standing at the bottom and mentioning that the elevator is broken and you need to find a way to fix it so he can, well, fix the tower. So if you climb back up to the ledge, you'll see some supplies, and then you can use those to fix the elevator. So what you need to do is basically just use a metal crate and then attach it to the lift. And then doing this will lift Sahasra up, and he will then open that tower. At number 3, we have the popular Foothills Skyview Tower. Upon reaching this tower, the door will be open, but the panel is not functional. And right outside the tower, you'll see some dialogue and someone calling for help. So if you jump down the well, you'll be required to break a series of boulders, and you'll either need a rock hammer, bomb arrows, or some spirit. But there are some supplies in this well that you can use as well to fuse. Once you've destroyed everything, you'll notice someone trapped behind bars in a prison, so your job isn't done yet. You then need to ascend out of the well and then try and find the entrance to that prison, which can cause some problems, because there's another well nearby which doesn't help at all. Once you finally manage to find the cave, the entrance is called Popular Foothills Excavation Site. You can easily free him once you step on the switch, and then he will meet you up at the tower and finally activate it. It's a little bit more difficult. At number 2, we have the Sahasra Slope Skyview Tower, and surprise, surprise, the door is stuck again when you try to open it for the first time. However, the nearby man tells you that there's a Sahasra Slope cave and talks about how he used to hunt mushrooms in this particular cave. Now, the main problem with this is that the mushrooms play no role in trying to activate this tower, so you may be confused there and try to gather as many mushrooms and try to figure out how to use them. They play no role at all. So instead, you have to ignore them, and once you find the cave, you're once again met with boulders, which you need to chip away with either a fused weapon or some bomb arrows. And once you travel through the cave, you'll hopefully find a room with a large gray boulder and 2 small rocks. So in this part of the cave, you have to ascend through it to finally get yourself into the tower. So I don't know how you know to ascend through that particular room, but you need to do it. So once you're finally in the tower, the door is wedged shut by 2 sticks, so your job isn't done once again. So if you're like me, you continue pressing A, or what is this? Yeah, it's A, to try to open the door, and it doesn't work, and you just get frustrated even though there's 2 obvious sticks on opposite sides. So what you just need to do here is just remove them, pick them up and remove them. And then once you finally open the door, then the tower will be activated. So there you go. Not too bad, but still, it was bad for me. The hardest Skyview tower in this game for me was the Gerudo Highland Skyview tower. Once you reach this tower, you'll notice that it's missing a door, so you can't get inside at all, and really it's wedged underneath the snow, so not only are you trapped there, but you can't glide in from the top. So a nearby tent will mention a cave that has all the supplies needed to enter the tower, but doesn't tell you where the cave is. Once you're inside the cave, you'll find another note which basically tells you that the cave continues all the way until you're underneath the Skyview tower. So that should be a big enough clue. But if it's not, you know, more and more problems. So to get down the stream, you'll need to place a large plank of wood into the water and just simply stand on it. And you'll be greeted with a small waterfall, and once you pass it, you'll see a large structure, and this structure is what you need to ascend from. But it's easier said than done. If you fall off the raft, it is very difficult, of course, as you'd expect to move against the current. So having the Zora set for this particular tower is kind of important, but you can make do without it. But it's recommended you have the Zora set. Once you're under the structure, your raft may continue to move away from the spot you need to ascend from, which is right in the middle, which is probably the most annoying part. You have to be very, very specific where you ascend from, otherwise it will not work. And once you've finally ascended, you can activate the tower and your headache will be over. Do you agree with my list? Let me know in the comments what the hardest tower was for you. Thanks for watching.